Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I'm going to get started here. First of all, I am I guess I would say pretty large owner of, larger than average owner of Polyson private equity. But this right here, this statement from link to that Yasin Mubarak had retweeted, this is all they've really said to me. This is all I know, and this is all I can tell you. They sent this email out last night. 2 days ago, Polyson CEO Jack McDonald reached out to inform us about the foreclosure action filed against Polyson by its lender, Boathouse Capital. Since then, Polyson team has been working to diligently resolve the situation in a constructive way. In the coming days, Polyson is hopeful it will be able to share more information regarding this resolution. In the meantime, Polyson is serving its customers in crypto custody and funds administration business in a normal way without legal or financial impediments. So this is the key word. Hopefully resolution will be had here in the next day or so. That's all I know. Okay, Gold Telegraph. The Federal Reserve is hinting at numerous rate cuts. Hold on, I'm sitting here thinking about something. Let me check my volume here. I didn't want to make sure because I had it turned down because it's kind of early in the morning. All right. Federal Reserve is hinting at numerous rate cuts in 2024. Enjoy the movie. Now, folks, I'll never forget it. I had a course when I graduated finance in undergraduate, and I had a course, and one of the finance professors, and this was a shock to me at the time, but went to explain to the entire class that in the lead up to an election year, that all these politicians intentionally get their people that run the financial system to do things that will make the economy, even if it's not, that will make the economy look good and boom in the year of their reelection. This is just the way it works, okay? This right here is not a coincidence. So the Federal Reserve is hinting at numerous cuts. So they've been raising interest rates all this time. Don't be surprised if you don't start to see these types of things and all kinds of moves that, whether you have a great economy or not, will give the appearance. I believe 2024, I believe this might also be why they're timing, it almost appears like they're timing this Bitcoin ETF at the same time. Many don't remember, but Bill Clinton benefited from the dot-com boom. The dot-com boom, actually, it was out of their control. It began to collapse in the last year of Bill Clinton's presidency, go figure. In the last year of his presidency, it began to collapse, and he never got any of the blame for it. He only got the credit for the boom. And that's how people remember him. This is how this stuff works, folks. So this is one of the many reasons I think that Gary Gensler will get the call to do the Bitcoin ETF because they know what's going to happen. Now let's show you some of what is happening and is going to happen. This market in this crypto winter, or whatever you want to call it, has been sat down there around $1 trillion. The last crypto winter, I remind you, was in the it went as low as $100 billion. I'll never forget it because I remember looking at it going, whoa. But this right here sat at around $1 trillion total market cap in this market. It started to inch up. Now it's at 1.6 trillion, folks, and they haven't even announced an ETF yet. Now, I disagree on Anthony Pompliano on many things, but I've never said that he's dumb. Okay, because he's not dumb. That's part of the reason I've always had a kind of an issue with Anthony Pompliano, because I know that he's being disingenuous on XRP. because we know what he was tweeting back in 2017, and then ever since then he's pretended like he didn't even know, he didn't even understand it. Listen to this. The greatest marketing blitz in finance history is coming. We're on the precipice of one of the largest marketing blitzes in the history of financial markets. The Bitcoin spot ETF is rumored to gain approval in early January 2024, which will kick off a global competition between financial heavyweights for billions of dollars in assets under management. Let's dive into some of the numbers. When the ETF is approved, it's likely that 50 billion to 100 billion will flow into various funds within the first 12 to 24 months. The approval of futures Bitcoin ETF was the fastest growing ETF in history, with approximately $1 billion invested into the fund for the first 48 hours. So we could see quite a bit of exuberance around the spot Bitcoin ETF. Additionally, Grayscale's GBDC had about 40 billion market cap in the 2021 bull market, even though it was less ideal trust structure. This signified how much investors wanted Bitcoin exposure. Given these prior data points, we can assume that 50 billion to 100 billion number of ETF inflows. GBTC currently charges a 2% management fee, pro shares 0.95. Let's handicap the probable fee structure. At a 1% management fee for easy numbers, this means 500 million to 100 billion is up for grabs in annual revenue to the winners of the ETF asset race. What would you do if you were the ETF issuers that get approved? Spend an insane amount of money to capture as much of the market share as you possibly can. Folks, think .com. The .com commercials were surrounding us back in the late 90s and all that. That's all you saw is .com this, .com that. What you're about to see is Bitcoin ETF. Think about this, folks. Super Bowl's coming up. I think the Super Bowl is in, I haven't checked the date. Let me see here. When is the Super Bowl? Super Bowl is February 11th. So think about that for a minute, folks. I'll bet you there are Bitcoin ETF Super Bowl ads already being lined up, because the people that would be running those ads and have the money to run those ads would probably be able to make a call to old Gary and say, Gary, what date is this happening so I can plan my Super Bowl ad? And then he says they'll spend an insane amount of money. Once a clear winner has been established, it tends to keep the dominant position. Liquidity begets liquidity. Assets attract assets. You mean like other digital assets? This is why I believe we will see the most insane marketing blitz in the history of financial markets in 2024. In my estimation, asset managers will collectively spend $100 million or more trying to woo investors and capital to their respective ETFs. There will be PR wars waged on the front pages of financial media. CEOs will be paraded around television news outlets as much as possible. There will be TV commercials, Super Bowl ads, full-page takeovers of newspapers. You know what else there will be, folks? There's going to be people that start saying, wait a minute, which one's going to be next? If all this money is being made on Bitcoin, which digital asset's going to be the next one? I think he's 1,000% right there about what's going to happen. And here's another, this is a Wall Street guy, former Wall Street investor, Fred Krueger.
I think that the crypto world that I'm now a part of doesn't really understand the scale of these ETFs and doesn't understand the kind of the wall of money that potentially could be coming into Bitcoin.
Wall of money.
And just to give you a number, I asked a friend of mine who's in crypto, who's pretty active, wrote a couple books on Bitcoin, he's pretty active in the podcasting, Mark Jeffrey. I said, Mark, what would you estimate the size of the global ETF market? And he's like, I don't know, $1 trillion. I said, what if I told you there's $10 trillion of ETFs? So that number is kind of crazy, right? If you think about it. And what's even more crazy is that number was 300 billion in 2000, right? So right around when I left Wall Street, it was 300 billion. So it's grown from 300 billion to 10 trillion. So this is not some sort of cycle, theoretical, like what if the property market became tokenized? What if people, this is like active ETFs that are trading today. It's a $10 trillion market, and it's, primarily in our jurisdiction. It's in the US, European jurisdiction. So this is not, stocks that are trading in China or anything like that. This is, ETFs run by, I think BlackRock itself has about $6 trillion in ETFs right now, just to give you the scale of the market. So I just don't think that people in the crypto world understand that there's $10 trillion of actual movable money. And the way that this money is kind of allocated is also very different from, I would say the way that crypto people think about buying and selling, or degens think about investing. No. So it's really allocated in a very passive investing strategy.
All right. And then we have this. This is the Bitwise CIO. Listen to him.
And secondly, just as a realpolitik thing, you have to listen when BlackRock comes to the market. They're the largest.
This is from a while back, but it's worth reinforcing.
ETF issuer in the world. They're very careful. They're very connected. And I would be lying if I didn't say that was an important signal as well. Bitwise has been committed to bringing a spot Bitcoin ETF to market for 4 or 5 years now. We're committed to being amongst the first pack. So those two factors are what changed the game. And we're now optimistic there is a pathway forward. And secondly,
So there's that. Then you got this. Here's Mark Yusko.
There are a lot of folks who still need to be convinced that this is a viable means of transaction. Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase, is not a big fan of it. Others aren't as well. How do you respond to that?
Well, when your livelihood depends on not understanding something, you won't. And Jamie understands it. He's a very smart person. But he and other people in the financial services industry are afraid, quite honestly. This technology, blockchain technology, will do to financial services what the internet did to media and commerce.
Sure.
It changes the landscape. You and I can now exchange value without an intermediary. And for 838 years, we've needed intermediaries to exchange value. The banking system, finance system, accounting, auditing.
Right.
All of those things are less valuable in the new world with new technology. It's inevitable.
Okay. Then we have this. Breaking news, JP Morgan has tripled its internal crypto team, all while its CEO bashes Bitcoin, stating he would ban crypto and Bitcoin if he ran the government. This is the exact move JP Morgan used when the gold spot ETF to short the market. How about that? And then this, now this is an older clip, I believe too, but this shows you what Elizabeth Warren is really up to.
In theory, a digital currency issued and backed by a central bank could provide the advantages of cryptocurrency without those risks. The Federal Reserve, a trusted institution, could provide a digital version of cash to the public that is secure, stable, and accepted everywhere. So let me ask you, Professor Menand, what role could a central bank digital currency play in reducing these kinds of risks to financial stability?
So a well-designed CB.
Right. So that's what she's trying to do. This was very interesting. I saw this yesterday. Ever note that the Coinbase logo circle is slowly closing over time? Once it's closed, it will be too late. Mr. Poole warned you. Or it has to do with the Coinbase and Circle partnership. Anders L. pointed that out. And when it closes, it'll be Oinbase. That's funny. Okay, and then finally, an address with a balance of 10 million USDT has just been frozen. All right. Now, we're about to go into the member group at daixrp.com. Here's what I'm going to talk about today. Well, this is probably the most, I'm going to show a part of it's probably the most censored, removed, and banned documentary ever created. I watched it years ago. I'm going to show you a part of that, and then I'm not going to show the whole thing. I'll show you a part of that, and you can watch the rest on your own. I'm just going to point it out to you. I'm going to show you what a Gary Gensler link that you've probably never heard of, and talk a little bit about Gary and Jay Clayton and that country that starts with a C. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. daixrp.com. Thanks for listening. Here we go.